That's exactly why we exist. You know, it started a little bit, of course, from the Women's March. And when I came back, I went with my mother, my sister, two sisters from California, my niece and my daughter. And we were all just so bummed about the election. And we just went, not knowing that it was going to be a big deal. Just, we're going to spend time together. We rented a house in DC, and it was an amazing experience. So we came home, and my friend Sally calls and says, did you, because everyone saw from Facebook or whatever that we were there. And so we all had dinner, and there were 6 of us at dinner. So we looked around like, who's going to run? And I'm like, not me. That's not me. But what are we going to do? And so everything you said is right on. And the women at the table, you all may know through the Matriots, but Sally, Sharon Steele, and Mindy Coffey, and April Zimmerman Katz, business, hairdressers, moms, caregivers, all of these things. And if we, because we were with Sharon Steele and Sally, who were involved with the startup of the Women's Fund, there was research. There was a business approach to this. This was more than just dinner. We met and had invited over to subsequent dinners. We met with Joyce Beatty, who is awesome, and other women leaders who said, well, you can't do this, you can't do this, blah, 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 blah. And all of this infighting, meshed with that we are part of, each of us are part of families that are diverse. This is not about party. This isn't about politics. It's not about fighting. It's about this glass ceiling and why aren't we in this picture? And so we did a lot of research, and it comes down to money. And money is part of the deal. And so we decided on a PAC. There are lots of ways to pass to go. So we picked a PAC. I didn't know what PACs were. I didn't know what all these designations were. I mean, I voted, but I didn't know all this stuff. So we get a PAC, we start up little committees, we figure out, okay, if we all ask a couple friends for a couple $1,000, we'll make, $100,000 and give that money away. And within 6 months, we were close to $1 million. I mean, timing is everything. But what's really important is influence and change. It matters who is in the State House. I don't know if you can see the results of what's happened over the past couple of years, but having voices like Erica Crawley, she's a prime example. She was an unknown, and she had a tough primary against a guy, and having the support of the Matriots was really one of the things that took her over. Besides, she's fabulous. But she's working on important housing bills, and Beth Liston, who's working on healthcare bills, and having women who know what they're doing finally sitting at the table, because when women aren't at the table, we're on the menu. And that's stupid, but it's true. All of these other issues get thrown out, and it's not because men hate women, it's because they just don't see us. And having diversity at every level matters. But when women are 50% of the population, and we are represented, at that time it was 22% in state legislature. Now we're 27. Can you imagine what it'll be like when we're 50%, which is our goal, which is reachable? And it is within reach. And the women, we are reaching out around the state. I've met the most incredible people, both supporters and candidates. So it's rewarding for myself. But I won't talk too long. But I want to say, April hosted our first house party. And April's family she's a radical person herself, but her family, there are a lot of conservative people in our neighborhood, their friends. We were not all, white liberal women. There were a lot of white women, but they were not all liberal. and diversity in religion and other things. But it was a case about, you know, we belong in this conversation. A lot of women who have not written checks to candidates, not been involved in the political process, including myself, and just acknowledging that we belong in this space. And this isn't a space because, you know, if you are a stay-at-home mom, that your checks can't go to support political candidates. Yes, they can, and your voice is as important. And voting matters, but money matters. And we have our own districts, but to make a change in Ohio, you have to know who is running for Senate in Toledo, who is, you know, what's happening in Akron. We have to make a change around the state. The state leaders don't recognize the problem. They don't not want to recognize it, they don't get it. So we have to take the reins, and it's the greatest thing ever. Like, it's really worth it, but your money will go really far, and it matters to so many first-time candidates, but it also gives the candidates who've been already elected, it gives them power. And I'll give you one last anecdote before Shiloh like pulls me out, is I was very active that first year, and I went to a lot of fundraisers, and I went to hear Sherrod Brown talk a couple times, and I always go like right up to him, throw up my hand and say, you know, I'm Rebecca, I'm with Matriots. And the first time it was like, oh, well, that's nice. And then, you know, the second event I went to, it's like, yeah, we're doing well. He's like, well, you can't do that because, you know, you support both Republicans and Democrats, and you can't do that. And like, yes, we can, and we're doing it. And, you know, and he gave me all the reasons why. And then the third time I said, you know, we've raised, and this is within the span of 6 weeks. I said, you know, we've raised $300,000. And he's like, tell me more about the Matrix. So when you walk into a room and you have raised $1 million and $2 million, your voice matters. You have power. Those candidates who sit in legislature, the party knows that they can raise $1 million. They now have power. Before, it's like, nice, okay. And the women who we spoke to had been in legislature who said, you know, I got in, but I had no power within the system because they were sidelined. Women can't raise money. Women can't do this. And this is an organization that has your back. And not only that, is we're a statewide Rolodex, you know. And so even though there are different amounts and people participate at different amounts, it does work.